ELI5. How does a plane dump fuel without affecting people on the ground? When a plane experiences a technical problem after taking off, it needs to dump its fuel before it can land again. For a long-haul flight, this represents a good amount of fuel. How does it dump it without causing a kerosene rain on the ground below? At high enough altitude, the jet fuel evaporates. Even so, think of it like dumping a bit of soda into the ocean. It doesn't simply fall, it spreads out. Droplets get caught up in different currents. Some of it just mixes with the water. Same idea. The fuel thins in the air, spreads out. It evaporates, mixes with the air. By the time any reaches the ground, it's like tiny particles, not rain. Tiny particles are still pollution, but it's not as bad as getting rained on by pure jet fuel. It does affect things on the ground. On a cold day most of the fuel is not going to evaporate, and even on a hot day, depending on the fuel blend, some will leave an oily residue behind. Planes don't regularly dump fuel unless there's an emergency. If it's at a high enough altitude, it will disperse over a very large area. Like several people have said, it evaporates, and/or gets spread over a large area. The other important point is that whatever damage it causes, you have to compare that to the damage caused by the fuel catching fire in the event of a crash. Damage from dumping is, arguably, the lesser evil. Usually no liquids make it to the ground because it tends to evaporate extremely fast, but there are still chemicals that are in the environment now. Sooner or later odds are something will be affected, even if we don't know it now. At high enough altitude it all evaporates, but there have been instances where buildings, people and animals have been drenched by such fuel dumps at low altitudes. Imagine you're at the top of a tall skyscraper and you dump out a jug of water. What was liquid before will become a fine mist by the time it hits the ground. Jet fuel is a lot nastier than water, but 30,000 feet is a lot taller than the highest skyscraper,